Hi everyone, welcome to a very new lesson for this particular session, that is direct speech and indirect speech. I'm sure that this is not a new chapter for you all, but a kind of revision is required before we move into learning the art of narration. This particular chapter is also called narration, where we are going to learn how to narrate, or rather, this particular chapter is also called reporting, where we are going to learn the art of reporting. So let us move on looking into the different aspects while learning this particular chapter. The first thing that we are going to look into is the characteristics of direct speech. It's very important that you all know what direct speech is all about and how does it appear when it is noted down or written down. Direct speech is actually an original quotation. It's an original quotation of talk. That means there is no scope of any transformation or any change. It is always placed between two quotation marks. And remember, whenever you are quoting somebody, that particular sentence that you quote is entirely a new sentence. Therefore, it should always begin with a capital letter. There are different ways of reporting. There are basically two different ways of reporting. The first way is by directly quoting the speech of the speaker, and the other way is by reporting whatever the words spoken by speaker. Whenever you are quoting down the speaker, you have to follow the structure of the direct quotation, that is also called the direct speech. The examples are laid down as Saina speaks. I am happy. Saina, when says I am happy, it can be reported in two different ways. One is by quoting her directly, that is, Saina said, I am happy. Look at the structure there. Saina said, comma, open inverted commas, I am happy, and close inverted commas. But if you want to report it in a reported speech form or in the indirect speech, it should be laid out with the words Saina said that she was happy. Basically, if you see here, this portion, the word that is not present there, but we are going to learn the usage of linkers. Remember, there are pretty little differences in spoken speeches and the written speeches. Often, when we talk to each other and when we report, we eliminate the linkers, but we have to use it in the written form. Therefore, we are going to learn the right ways of doing so. There are various errors that we come across when we practice this art of reporting. Therefore, our task is to learn how to do it in a right way. So here are the examples. Let's see what are those examples. Reported speech. Somebody is meeting Jane. Okay, here if you see this particular person, she is Jane. J-A-N-E, Jane. I'm not being able to write E there. Okay. So, Jane says, I'm traveling to Oxford tomorrow. Now, oftentimes the common error is, let's see, this is the one. I often see this in the exercise books when the students are exercising, often in answer scripts when they have not learned the correct way. I saw Jane yesterday and she told me that I'm traveling to Oxford tomorrow. Now, when you're reporting here with the uses of the word that, if you see here, you cannot quote the exact words. Here, you need to report. Therefore, the right way of reporting would be I saw Jane yesterday and she told me that she was traveling to Oxford the next day. Now, can you see the change in pronoun here? I'm so sorry, the change in the time there. Tomorrow becomes the next day. Can you see that I is changing to SHC? So, these are the rules that we have to learn. Let us analyze some of the rules in detail here. The first rule is the use of linkers. In the previous slide, I told you that we often eliminate linkers when spoken or when we try to report in the spoken platform. But whenever we are writing it down, we should always use linkers. So checking rules first, the first rule here says we use linkers. We use linkers before the indirect speech. So here the example is, he said, I am busy. And the indirect speech should be, he said that he was busy. Now if you see, there might be an inquisitiveness, a curiosity within the minds and hearts of my learners. Why is this word am being used to was? I'm so sorry, am is being changed to was. I has been changed to the word he. Okay, now we are also going to look into these rules in the slides that will follow this particular one. Now, the first rule is followed by the second one, where we are going to refer to this particular area. Okay, I changing to he. The pronouns are changed according to the sense. So, direct speech is Arun said, I don't like milk. So indirect speech says Arun said that he does not like milk. So do not has been changed to does not. Why? Because we have to look into subject verb agreement as well. So we cannot write he do not like. That will be wrong. Let us move on. We have now come along with the examples of change in pronoun according to sense. I can either be he or she. We can, or rather we is supposed to be changed to they. He, she, they can be you. As you know that this is something that can be used in singular as well as plural sense. Me will be changing to him and her. So you just try to have a look into the entire example here and use it accordingly whenever we practice the exercises of direct speech to indirect speech. Before we move on to the next slide, a reminder to all of us here that we are not learning just the transformation. We are learning one basic aspect of language. This particular aspect is supposed to be, or rather any other aspect that we deal with, whether it's a voice, tense, a direct or indirect speech, we are going to use all these skills in expression, in spoken languages or written forms. Okay? So the next rule that we are going to analyze here is if the reporting verb is in the past tense. Remember this particular instruction here. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. Only if the reporting verb is in the past tense, we must come along with the changes of tense of the reporting speech there. Okay? So here we see if the sentence within the quote is in simple present tense, if the sentence within the quote is in simple present tense, then it will change to past simple. Past simple means simple past tense. So the example is also here. If you see, he said that he worked hard. If it is present continuous like here, it will change to past continuous, and the example is laid down here. So please go through. This particular portion is supposed to be the most important verse of Bible in learning language. Basically, not learning language, I want to tell you, in learning the art of narration. With this, we will move on to the next slide. This particular slide deals with the change in time and place. After learning the rules of change in tense, we have to learn this change in time and place. If the word this is there in the direct speech, it will change to that. If the word is I'm so sorry, here the word is supposed to be THESE. These will change to those. Now is a place will change to then here will change into there. Today will be changing into that day, and so on and so forth. Okay, with this knowledge, when we practice and practice and practice, we will be going closer and closer and closer to perfection. So here, towards the closure of this particular video as such, I'd like you all to know that these are the cases that we are going to deal with in this particular session. Narration of assertive sentences. Narration here means we are going to learn the transformation from direct to indirect speech of assertive sentences, interrogative sentences, imperative sentences, optative sentences, and question tags. But before we move on to these cases, you have to make sure that you all know what is the meaning of assertive, interrogative, imperative. What are these all different types of sentences? It is only then we can move on with smooth pace. The next slide here is something that deals with different examples of assertive sentence. Remember, these are the examples of narration of only assertive sentences. So you are going to have a look at the changes here. I am writing, it is in present continuous tense changing to past continuous tense. It is happening only because this particular word is in past form. Okay, and there are various examples as such. Please have a look at it, and we are going to practice. When we go to the art of learning the art of narrating interrogative sentence, then we are going to try this out. Okay, so we are going to change this particular sentence, this particular sentence, this particular sentence, this particular sentence, and all of this into indirect speech. We are going to report all of this. So with this, I'd like to end this particular video with the hope that you are going to find it very easy and comfortable for you to learn, basically to revise the chapter direct and indirect speech. Thank you very much.